Thanks, everybody. So if you saw the keynote this morning, you heard from our CEO, Alex Bard, and I love his equation for disappointment equals expectations minus reality. There's so many ways that that's applicable. What we're going to talk about today is some of the ways in which we try to go about setting the right expectations for our customers at Campaign Monitor, and how we assume that if we continue to act in that kind of frame of mind, that we'll continue to achieve what their expectations are, even if we reduce it by reality. So based on the size of this room and the room that we were in, I don't know if everybody was in the keynote room, but there was kind of standing room only, and there was people sitting at the back, and I kept on thinking to myself as a chief customer officer, how many customers are out there wondering where their CSM is today? So it's exciting to see that kind of attendance at an event like this, and we're excited to be here. So we're going to start by just telling you who I am. My name is Nate Skinner. I work for Campaign Monitor. This is my Twitter handle. It's actually my name in reverse with my first initial. People think it's weird, but that's what I did. We are, at our company, hyper-focused on our customers, and we let our customer voice do the talking for us as often as we possibly can. But more important than that is we're a metric-driven organization, and we measure ourselves every step of the way. And so if you are at this event, you've used Get Feedback as part of the survey technology that we worked with Tatango and Kaiser and team to provide to you. This is Get Feedback for our customer service organization. Every interaction we have with a customer, it gives them an opportunity to tell us how we did, and we capture that at every single case. So I don't know about, for most of you, how many cases you resolve in a month or in a quarter. For us, it's about 6,000 plus or minus in any particular month. And so that's 6,000 opportunities to listen to a customer in how we interacted with them, and we measured them all. So let's go ahead. The focus of the session I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it in less than 18 minutes so that Phil can take over. We're going to talk about 10 steps that we feel like we supercharged our customer marketing organization along with customer success. Anybody in here, does customer marketing exist in your same organization if you're a customer success manager or a CCO? Anybody who's marketing? Okay. So it's more common than, and I was at a Gainsight chief customer officer event a couple weeks ago in Napa, and the numbers were more like 45, 42% of chief customer officers were kind of owners of the customer marketing function. It was growing. So that's exciting because there's a lot of opportunity and synergy where we take advantage of our customers' experience and tell the rest of the world about what that experience is and how they're finding success. I think we'd all agree that the best advocate for our technology and our service is our customers. So we're going to go through just 10 ways that we did this at Campaign Monitor, and then at the end we'll do some Q&A, okay? The first was establishing a vision. Campaign Monitor never had customer marketing. It never had customer success. Even 1 year ago, like last month, these were all new functions for a 10-year-old company that had grown up entirely self-service. And so we had to create them from scratch. And one of the things we did right from the beginning was, why are we doing this thing called customer marketing? Why are we doing this thing called customer success? And the customer marketing part was really about highlighting our exceptional customers for the benefit of others. It's one thing for us to know what the technology does. It's a different thing entirely to have a customer tell prospects or other customers. We also wanted to make sure that we became the voice for the customers and understand them completely. As you probably do at your company, we segment our customer base from small and large and middle size. We look at them from how much they spend and how many users they have and how many emails they send in our case. We want to completely understand that and understand the firmographics and the demographics of our customers so we can talk to them in their voice. And lastly, we developed developed marketing strategies that help us increase our customer engagement. For all the customer success pros in the room, which is probably everybody, revenue retention and reduction of churn is a primary mandate. And so we use customer marketing to help us deliver against those goals and continually put our customers in front of other customers so they can learn how to grow with us, how to learn best practices from us, and how to ultimately get more value from us, which we believe are leading indicators to reduction in things like churn and increasing revenue retention. The second thing we did was we dove deep into our customer base. Campaign Monitor, a lot like Amazon Web Services, grew up entirely as a self-service company. So you could go on campaignmonitor.com at 2010 and you could buy the service, send emails, and never talk to a human being. And we did not know who they all were. We had a few that kind of stood out for us. It was based and founded in Australia, so a company called Kogan was like the Amazon of Australia. We knew about them because they were a big customer for Campaign Monitor. We knew about customers like Rip Curl and customers like South by Southwest. But beyond those kind of that stood out, we didn't know a whole lot about them, who they were, where they're from, how much they spend, how many members of the marketing organization were at any of those particular companies. If you asked a question like, are you guys B2C or B2B? Do you have mostly small customers or large customers? Are they enterprise or are they mid-market? We didn't know the answers to those questions. And so we had to do a significant amount of kind of rolling up of our sleeves to understand where our customers were, what they were doing with us, and why. The pro tip I put in here was we had 10 years of data and not a lot of people on our team to kind of churn through it. And we used the Amazon Mechanical Turk. I don't know if anybody has ever done that before. It's kind of a really useful tool. Kaiser and I, when we talked about this session, talked about kind of some specific things we did that were tactical that maybe people could take away. Mechanical Turk was a great way to give a bunch of generic data in the thousands of rows to a human being that was willing to take a few $100s a day to kind of add things like the URL, the geography, their headquarters, how many employees they had, the size of the company, when it was founded. We didn't have any of that data. Our sign-up form was pretty generic, your username, your password, and your email. So we used that service, and it really did well for us. Ultimately understanding the buyer personas and the thing that motivates your customer. So we did that, and it was a lot of work, but I encourage everyone who maybe hasn't done that to do so. The third thing we did was find our stories. So we had a whole bunch of customer support people around the world. In the email marketing landscape, there's this thing called compliance as well. Those folks helped us find great customers because they're interacting with our support and our compliance team on a daily basis. And so we use Slack. We have a channel called Cool Customers. Anyone in the company can promote or advocate for a customer that they've come across. We have over 40,000 customers paying on every month on average, and over 150,000 companies worldwide that used our service over the past 10 years. And we want to be able to find these great stories in that base. And this was one way we did that, okay? So find the customers, let everybody have a voice and share them. We actually use Get Feedback to allow people to submit customer nominations to our organization as well, okay? The fourth thing we did was help start to identify the brands that tell our story, and we categorized them. We had these things called small to medium growing businesses. You all know what those are probably. Then we had big companies that had small teams using our service to get results. And then we had this thing in our business. Campaign Monitor was built originally to be email marketing for agencies, like design and marketing agencies. And so we started to segment them and look at the opportunity to talk about them in their way and in their tone. The fifth thing we did was we rallied the entire company behind the ideal customer profile. We did not do this before. We had no idea who the buyer persona was, and we took a lot of work. It almost took 6 months for us to really get very high fidelity around what is the ideal customer profile. We have 10 years of customers who have found us and become customers of ours. Are those all representative of the kind of customers we want to go get? And so we had to map the two things and reconcile them against each other, and we did that. We did it with market research, we did it with customer data analysis, and we also interviewed a few hundred of our customers directly to try to determine and define those key personas, and their influencers and the buyers and the people who use the service itself. We had 10 years of customer data and missing information. We manually combed through those by rows of about 3,000. Again, this is one of those things where you don't want to get it wrong, right? It's important to have an accurate picture of who your ideal customer is and the personas that are captured in those customers. Why bother? So this is going to look like a funny slide because the guy on the right is Just for Men. Anybody ever use Just for Men? I don't. I probably will have to sooner or later, but it's hair color for men. It's marketed as hair color for men. When you identify an ideal customer profile, it helps you inform everything in the company. This was like the biggest shift in the way we thought about things at Campaign Monitor because we had grown up as self-service, so no one was pushing the focus and the energy of the entire company in any particular direction. And so our intent was to help everyone focus on who is the right kind of customer that we want to go out and attract through marketing efforts, through sales efforts, through our CSM leader, Taras's team. What do we do and how do we do it? You know, they could have called that Just for Women, right? They could have put a face on there that was a 29-year-old female, but they didn't. They called it Just for Men. They picked a guy that looks like he's about 40-ish, and they put that in the men's department of most drugstores. And so they've decided that's their persona, that's who they're after. It's not like if you're a female, you can't use Just for Men, right? But the idea there is the why. Why bother? So you can really hyper-focus your message and your efforts around targeting the right kind of customer for whatever your story is and your service, okay? We also educated internal teams. Number 6, we took a lot of time to tell all of our employees about these great customer stories and the great customers that we had because, again, as a self-service company, we didn't necessarily know them all. And so we went around and did this roadshow where we educated our entire company about the kinds of customers using our service and how they're using it. This particular slide is one where we had Rip Curl is a great customer of ours. They launched products on our service, but very few people in the company knew about that and knew what they were doing and how powerful it was for them, and so we told their story. Okay? 7, we built a library of these assets. So you've got all these different initiatives happening. We're starting to pull this data together. We're starting to understand our ideal customer. We're starting to understand the kinds of great brands using our service, whether we kind of knew it or not, and we've articulated them in various platforms and mechanisms. So the first is we use our customers on our blog a lot. We put the customer at the center of many of our blog pieces. We built a gallery of our favorite emails that our customers are sending, in our case. So you can go to campaignmonitor.com/gallery, and they're all there, organized by use case. And we also, if you go to campaignmonitor.com/customers, we started to highlight and profile these brands that we were identifying and pulling them forward and telling their story on our customers' behalf. The coolest part to me was when we tied the customers page back to the gallery. So if you click on Lacoste, for instance, or Airbnb or Callaway, you go to the gallery page that's the emails they're sending. So they're tied together and highly related, and it helps with things like SEO and SEM as well, so people can find our customers and what they're doing. If you watched the keynote this morning, you saw that we played a video, a Jaybird film. We just completed that. You guys were the first to see it. We will have a campaignmonitor.com/customer/Jaybird page here soon, which will highlight that video, just like we already have for Rip Curl and for South by Southwest. And so the idea there is building up a library of these videos that are essentially testimony by our customers about how they're getting value from our service and how we're helping them be successful. And that's part of the whole marketing and success working together. Number 8 was going beyond the brands. This is something we're doing right now. We want to talk less about the companies and more about the people and the human beings at those companies. And so we have this initiative underway where we're highlighting and capturing film and capturing photography of some of these great brands and the people at those offices. So on the upper right side, our friend Dan Ashinsky at BuzzFeed, that's an actual shoot in his office. Down on the lower right side is Jaybird. You saw her in the film this morning. Her name is Kaylee. On the lower left side, James Taylor from Rip Curl. And on the upper left side is this Kristen Shevin from the Wonderful Union Agency. For us, this represents the broad swath of our customers by segment. We have agencies, we have large brands, we have small departments within big companies, and then we have entire organizations using our service. So that's our next step, is kind of going to the human being level and talking about their success individually. Number 9, we wanted to give all of our customers an opportunity to tell the world what they think about us, and we want to do that in as automated a way as possible. And so what we do is we use Desk.com as our customer service platform, and every time we resolve a case, the automated email that comes out of Desk to the customer says, "How did I do?" And if they give us, you guys are all familiar with the standard NPS score, right? So if they give us a 9 or 10, the logic and get feedback presents to them a landing page that says, "Hey, we're so happy you're so happy. Would you mind submitting a review for us?" Now, some people do it and some people don't. But what it's done is driven dramatically up our third-party marketplace reviews from customers. So we don't have to go scramble to try to get increased juice on SEO and SEM from these places like G2 and GetApp and Capterra. Our customers are telling the world about their experience with us, and all we're doing is encouraging them to do so in context of an experience where they felt very positive about what just happened. So automating as much of that as you can is one of the things we've done pretty well. And then the last thing, and the reason that I have to run out of here at exactly 11:45, is highlighting your customers, knowing who the VIP customers are, and then letting them tell your story to each other and to others. We are doing a customer event tomorrow in New York City, the first time we've ever done such a thing. Our customers are presenting their story and experience to about 40 other customers and 5 prospects. So we're letting the kind of microphone become less about the landing pages and the videos and more of an in-person, in-reality situation where the customers talk about their experience and other customers can ask them questions. So that is the 10 things we've done to juice kind of the customer marketing, customer success relationship and have it be a beneficial kind of 2-directional relationship that works very well. I think we would do things differently if we went back to the beginning. And I think if I was going to answer that question before anybody asks it, I would say we'd start with the ideal customer profile. That would be the first thing we did. What we did instead was deep dive on the customers we have, which told us a lot about who they were, but not a lot about whether they were the ones we wanted to go get. It just so happens that they are, but that was luck.